many of you have had a chance to look at the bulletin? Megan's ready for snow. She's got high boots on. Just don't want to see that snow for too bad. Hey guys. Come on. Carol, you want to go turn that thing off. That bothers me. See, that's my age. See, that's because of my age. Does that bother you? Okay, Miss Conley. All right. Somebody fill this gap in here. It won't hurt. How's that? Okay. How's that? That'll work. All right. So how many of you had a chance to look at the bulletin? 1, 2, 3, maybe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8. Joy and happiness. I'm happy. You know why I'm happy? Because I'm alive, and guess what? I'm excited about what God's going to do. I have no idea what He's going to do next, but I'm excited about it. It's exciting. Amen? Excited what God's going to do. Now, if I were a young person, 10 or Hunter's age, and Elizabeth, and Sierra, I'd be thinking about a date. That's what I'd be excited about. Looking forward to the date. Looking forward to the time when you can get a driver's license. Sarah has a permit. Sierra has a permit. She has a permit. Now, people like me, we've been driving an awful long time. So to us, to go out and get in a car, it is not exciting. Amen? That's not exciting because we're the ones putting gas in, paying for the insurance and maybe payments on it or what have you. So it's really not all that exciting. But when you're 14, 15, and 16 and looking forward to it, it's exciting. So we're happy. So we want to say, I really hope I can soon drive. I'm getting close to getting a permit. Yeah, I'm getting ready. I'm close. I got a permit, and as soon as I get a chance to let somebody help me drive, then I'm ready. I heard a story this morning from a fellow. He said when he grew up in Baltimore, he said the thing about growing up in Baltimore, he said the only thing they had, they called a pool, was when on late Friday nights, the fire company would open up the fire hydrant and the water just blew out of there. Said he stood there at 11 years old, and he stood there and he looked at the water, at that pipe, and he thought, how's all that water coming out of that pipe? How can that pipe hold all that water? He studied and studied, so he thought, I know what I'll do when I get home. I'm going to ask Dad. He went home, Dad didn't know everything. I didn't hear anything. Dad didn't know everything.
Amen.
That's better. Coming from my daughter. Coming from my daughter, I'm happy about that. So I asked his daddy, and his daddy said, well, the water is not, all that water is not in that pipe. It's not in that fire hydrant, all that water. And that water comes from a pipe that's under the ground that comes from the pump station that is at the reservoir. And when it rains, the reservoir is replaced with its water. And creeks or rivers flowing into it. When you and I as Christians, I want to see Jesus. just like the pipe and the fire hydrant. The water came from the reservoir. Are you getting my point? We have to be, as Christians, we have to be tapped into the reservoir. Just like the reservoir at the fire hydrant is like the fire hydrant is tapped into the reservoir. Well, when you look at it and you think about that, what's scary, the red line reservoir, the water, a lot of the water comes from the river. There's a pipe that big around that sucks the water out of the Susquehanna all the way up through to the reservoir. And we ain't drinking it unless we buy bottled water. Of course, then we don't know where the bottled water comes from.
Oh, it comes from a mountain stream with fish feet.
Oh. So it goes like this. We cannot be full of joy unless we are tapped into the spring of the living water, and that's Jesus. This word says that Jesus is the living water. He gives me living water, and I thirst no more. It's a song that we sing, for those you're not familiar with it. And when you look at the bulletin, where is it? I have one here somewhere. Look here. I got all this stuff here. I thought I had one. Now I have one. Okay, here we go. All right. And we look at this part here. Do you ever hear the expression, and everybody jump for joy? Right? We jump for joy. How many times do you see kids? You're around little ones and they're jumping for joy. They're jumping and they're jumping and they're happy. They're happy because there's something in their life that's giving them joy. And that joy comes from a parent, a grandparent, brother, sister. And I know sometimes you get fighting with brothers and sisters. Okay, it's enough, we're done. And you don't really understand why you feel so happy. I'm so happy. Yes, I'm so happy. Happiness only lasts for a short period of time. Joy lasts for eternity as long as you're tapped into. Okay? So, is there a difference between joy and happiness? There is a difference between joy and happiness. Sometimes we need to look in the mirror. And it might scare you what you see in the mirror. But nevertheless, we still have to look in the mirror. You can't be like you look in the mirror and you go out every day and you want to worship, you want to share with the Lord, people about the Lord. You can't go out looking like an old sourpuss like you've been sucking on lemons all night. How are you going to bring or share joy with people? Now, if you just got your driver's license, Sierra, and you got a car, it don't matter if it's an old or new, but you got a car that you can say, this is my baby. This is my baby. You'll be so happy. You'll be jumping with joy. You'll be happy. But that happiness is a carnal thing. It's something that has come from this earth. And that happiness, you won't, you know what happened, Sarah? After a while, that new car, whether it's a new used one or a used one or the first one for that very first car. I remember my very first car. It was the color of pink. Pink Ford. What else? And so, here's what happens. Still might have one of them ridiculous looking things with 3 wheels. I think a motorcycle should look like a motorcycle and not a train. But anyhow, whatever it is, guess what happens? You got to put gas in it. You got to check the oil. You got to keep the tires floated. You got to have insurance because the police stop you. You're in serious trouble if you don't have insurance. You got to have a registration on. And as time goes on, that car becomes something that you're not happy with. And then you start driving past the car lots. Ooh, I like that over there. And after you pass that car lot, day after day going to a regular JOB, because you'll have to have a JOB to pay for that car. Now, that joy is no longer a joy, and the happiness is gone. Because now we're looking at a different one. Got a problem in church? Got a problem with somebody? Yeah, I got a problem with somebody. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave church and I'm going to go someplace else where I won't have problems with somebody until they learn to know me. And if ever your church was a brother, the church that I was raised in, that was never a perfect church. Until I left. Once I left, then it became a perfect church. When I came to this church, it was a perfect church. But when I got here, it's no longer perfect. Because I'm flawed. I'm a man. I have problems with things. When we look at our lesson today, and pretty soon we're going to get to it. But the point being, you just don't know what they said to me. Well, I do know what they said to me. You know why I know what they said to me? I've lived it. I've lived it. Even when I was as young, well, when I was maybe in Clemens' age, stuff like that didn't start involving me. But when I got to be 11, 12, 14, 15, then I started to notice. I started to notice people making fun of the pants that I wore that were up 3, 4 times. The patches in my pants. And I started noticing people were making fun of me in church. And when I went to school. And when I went to dear old Red Lion High, they not only made fun of my pink Ford, but they made fun of my clothing. Because we just didn't have a whole lot growing up on the farm in Prizeville, PA. They started making fun of me. And then I started to notice that there's some nasty people in the world. I get an amen? Amen. All right. See a little happy face. Wouldn't it be wonderful if everything was beautiful and happy? But guess what? We're peoples. We are peoples. And just like that, my nose is running. Besides that, you like that? Don't try to burn this one. Okay, pocket. Where's the pocket? Yeah. Where's this? So, these people are jumping up and down. Sierra got her first car and she's jumping up and down. Hunter already has a car. Then somebody took his car and drove it down. It didn't have tags, didn't even have registration. Somebody did that. And if that somebody would have been stopped by the police, guess what? Maybe he could have got 3 hots on the car. I don't know, but a pretty heavy fine that some mother or dad would have gotten. And then that joyride of riding to a town or wherever, the excitement. You know how I know that? You didn't do that. Yeah, I did. There's people who start to pray and God doesn't even know what they look like. There's people who start to pray and they have no idea what God looks like or what God can do for them. But I know what God can do for you. He can bring you real joy, unspeakable and full of glory. So what we're going to do today, what we're going to do. Oh, I didn't even start preaching yet. I found one. Okay? So what we're going to do is we are going to pray. Now, Miss Karen, you can go back and turn it on. And if you find Sweet Hour of Prayer, and we'll put up with the humming. So I'm glad that Megan and the kids, Megan and Brian and the kids are back in town again. And glad Sarah's with us today. Alexis and Gary. And I'm glad that everybody's here. Even if you don't like each other. I'm glad you're here. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Sweet hour of prayer. Sweet hour of prayer. That calls me from the world of care. Hallelujah. I want you to think about that. And for those of you who can, I want you to kneel right here. For those of you who can. And I can. Oh, down on my knees. Right down. I'll have someone to help me out. As Carol playing the song Sweet Hour of Prayer that calls me from the world of care, I want you to think about anything and everything that's in your life that needs fixed. In the book of John, Jesus said in his own words that whatever we ask in His name, it shall be done. Some people might think, well, I've been asking Jesus for something for a long, long, long time, and it still hasn't taken place. Well, how do you expect Jesus to answer your prayer when you're not faithful to Him? How do you expect Him to answer your prayer when you're not tithing? How do you expect Him to answer your prayer when you don't know Him? And you're not tapped into the reservoir of the life that Jesus gave for us. Sweet hour of prayer. It calls me from a world of care. As we look around and we think there's so many things that are just messed up. People's lives are messed up. Our government is messed up. The local government is messed up. Some of the people that we thought were good and honest people are now being investigated, both in the media, television, and government. Boy, that's messed up. But think about your own life now, your life. I want each person to think of their own life. Are you trusting in God? Are you tapped into the reservoir of living water? You can be that prayer hydrant. You can be that person that's full of joy and unspeakable. That when people look at you and talk to you, they know that there's something different about you. You don't have to be rude, crude, or obnoxious. But we can be truthful time ago, I played this tape. The name of the tape is Don't Sit in My Pew. It seems like we are too quick as church members to moan and complain about something that somebody did or somebody said. Lord, have mercy. It's time that we pull ourselves together, unity, and do what God has called us to do. Sweet hour of prayer. I just want you to take a moment. And just think about what it is that's in your life that you can change, and how much closer you can get to God. Some people would like us to pull somebody else aside. I remember the time I was 75 heading to Iowa. I was following 4 cars, and we were all doing about 90. State cop got me. First thing out of my mouth was, I was following those guys. We always want to put all of our blame on somebody else. So today I ask you to search your heart while we kneel here, quietly and reverently. Says God, what can I do? What can I do, God, to get closer to you? I'd like all of you to repeat after me at this point. Heavenly Father, we ask you to be with us through the remainder of this service and the remainder of the day, that whatever we do and whatever we say will bring honor and glory to your Son Jesus. Bless each person here. In the name of Jesus, I ask you to give me that light that you've promised to the fullest, so I can experience that joy. In the name of Jesus. Amen. Hallelujah. Okay, you go back to your seats. All right, and Randy is going to read for us from 1 Peter. Peter, get up. You don't have as far to get up as I do. 1 Peter. One. 3 through 9.
Please rise for the reading of the word that will be coming from 1 Peter 1, 3 through 9. Praise to God for a living hope. Praise be to God and the Father of our Lord Jesus Christ. In his great mercy he has given us new birth and a living hope through the resurrection of Jesus Christ from the dead, and into an inheritance that can never perish, spoil, or fade, to keep in heaven for you, who through faith are shielded by God's power until the coming of the salvation that is ready to be revealed in the last time. In this you greatly rejoice, though now for a little while you may have had to suffer grief in all kinds of trials. These have gone so far that your faith of greater worth than gold, which perishes even through not see him now, you believe in him and are filled with the inexpressible and glorious joy, for you are receiving the goal of your faith, the salvation of your souls.
Amen. You may be seated. Yes.
Would you all like me to sing a song before you start?
Would you like to sing a song before we get started? Okay, you can sing a song even after I've gotten started. While he's getting ready to sing the song, somebody please open the curtains. I like to see daylight. Connie has something that she'd like to say. There's string on the side. There you go. All right. Listen up. Connie has something to share. For those of you who have never experienced what Connie's experienced, you'll not believe that she's 55 years old. Think about herself. We complain about many things. You say amen, church. We complain about many things. And when I listen to Connie, I know that one of these days, and I wake up in glory, I know what Connie's saying. I remember October the 22nd, when we had the baptism. We took her in the water. And I told John and Brian we're just going to sprinkle some water on her and make her wet. And when she got in there, it didn't take her long to go. She knew what she was there for. And so, just when you close your eyes at night, you thank God that you're able to function better than she does.
Amen.
The way she was born. In Jesus' name. John's going to sing us a song, and then we're going to talk about joy and happiness. Are you happy, John? Look at John's face. See that? See how happy John is? Come on, people, look. Okay, brother.
I would like to sing it's called In the Eye of the Storm. Guard my soul. You alone are the anchor when my sails are torn. Your love surrounds me in the eye of the storm. When they let me go, and I don't know how I'm going to make ends meet. When I did my scared to death. I want to lose everything. You rest me in green meadows and provide all that I need to bring honor to your name. In the eye of the storm, you remain in control. In the middle of the war, you guard my soul. You alone are the anchor when my sails are torn. Your love surrounds me in the eye of the storm. When my hopes and dreams are far from me and I'm running out of faith, I see the future I picture slowly fade away. And when the tears of pain and heartache are pouring down my face, I find my peace in Jesus' name. In the eye of the storm, you remain in control. In the middle of the war, you guard my soul. You alone are the anchor when my sails are torn. Your love surrounds me in the eye of the storm. When the test comes in and the doctor says I've only got a few months left, it's like a bitter pill I'm swallowing. I can hardly take a breath. And when addiction steals my baby girl and there's nothing I can do, my only hope is to trust in you. I trust you, Lord, in the eye of the storm. You remain in control. In the middle of the war, you guard my soul. You alone are the anchor when my sails are torn. Your love surrounds me in the eye of the storm. You remain in control. In the middle of the war, you guard my soul. You alone are the anchor when my sails are torn. Your love surrounds me in the middle of the storm. Okay, go back to you, Pastor Al.
Oh, yeah. So you were reading the story of my life.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I've been in that storm. Sometimes I think the storm's never going to stop. But I know this, that God is the one who is in control of my life. I gained control. When I was young, about 11 years old, 12 years old, I gave my life to Jesus. I thought. But actually what I did was gave my life to the church. Now there's a difference, entirely a big difference. Giving my life to Jesus and giving my life to church. Because the elders of the church at that time would say, Bobby, they could call me Bobby because they was older than me. They'd say, Bobby, it's time for you to go front. I said, go front for where? They said, go front for the elder. Oh, okay. It wasn't until quite some time later that I realized there was a difference in giving my life to the church and giving my life to God. Turning everything over to Jesus. When I turned everything over to Jesus, then I began to experience the joy. But I still wasn't there. I still wasn't there because you look right under where I have 1 Peter 1, 3 through 9. Joy is like in the faith. You cannot have joy if you're sad. You can't be faithful if you're sad. And then, why are you sad? Like I said earlier this morning, just a little while ago, when you look in the mirror, it's scary sometimes. Those of you who have a lot of hair, especially when you look in the mirror. You get up in the morning, you look in the mirror and say, oh my goodness, what in the world happened last night? I don't know what happened last night because now I look like something's going to explode. So then we reach to the cabinet to try and find some makeup, some paint, something that will make us what we ain't. Come on, somebody, work with me on that one.
Amen.
Make me what I ain't. We get the paint, covered it up, and then we cover up that old face that scared us when we first looked in the mirror. Then we get it to the point and we look, oh boy, now that looks pretty good. And then fix your hair a little bit, and then now you're ready to go. Now you're pretty happy until you go outside and the wind messes up your hair. Or the new suit that you just put on, a car went past the curb and splashed some mud up on your new suit. What can we do? Well, we can't be sad. Count it a joy. There's a reason. There's some kind of a reason that when you walk out of your house, it splashed on you. There's some kind of a reason that you have to do something. You know you have to do something physically. We know that we can't go out the way we are in our briefs or PJs or what have you. So we got to do something. And then we go to Galatians 5:22. Faith is not dependent on physical, carnal happiness. Okay? Y'all, who knows what carnal is? Flesh. Carnal is flesh. Faith does not depend on that. Happiness, as we said a while ago, only lasts for a short period of time. And then we go to, Joel 1. 12th verse. Somebody going to read Joel 1.
The vine is dried up, and the fig tree is withered. The pomegranate, the palm, and the apple tree, all the trees of the field are dried up. Surely the joy of mankind is withered away.
You cannot serve and please God without joy
That's right.
or sadness. Can't serve. You cannot serve. Of course, maybe you're sad because you got so much to do for the church. Do you know that 99% of all the churches in our nation, 99% are operated and maintained by people like y'all. Maintained by people who volunteer. It's just like a couple of weeks ago I mentioned the fact that our United States, our military, it's all volunteer. None of them are drafted like when I was a kid, when we have to, they send out papers, and when I was a teenager. Of course, for those of you who didn't know, I was married when I was a teenager. So was my wife. She was married when she was a teenager. So they didn't take me into the military because I was already married, and also there was Troy Robert Larkin showed up. He showed up into the household, so there we were, kids having kids. Unbelievable. Like Gary and Alexis. Being young people. Well, we counted a joy. This past week, we won Elizabeth's assignment for school. She had to interview me. And some of the questions she asked were a bit difficult to answer. Some of the questions like, what national tragedy people evil enough to kill other people. Has absolutely nothing to do with the gun. Nothing to do with the gun. I would be shocked if I go to my house after we're done here today, and one of my guns got out of the gun safe and went for a walk and went into Raceville and shot somebody. I would be shocked. Now we're getting into something else different. But not one of those guns that you can come out and shoot one of the dogs either. It has to have a person behind it.
That's right.
And so then, after that, the national privacy, something that happened. We can fast forward to 9/11. And then the question was, well, how did you feel after 9/11? I felt angry. And shortly after that, I was going to Wyoming to hunt. And I noticed that everywhere around here, almost everywhere, you saw flags fly. From Brooklyn, New York, you got to saw more and more American flags fly. There it is. Read it. Look at it. What it stands for. The further west that I went, the less amount of flags I saw. So it seemed like the further you got away from what took place, where over 3,000 people were massacred by some ragheads who wanted to go to meet Allah. And I thought to myself, they want to go meet Allah, why don't they go tie themselves to a tree and blow themselves in a tree up? Answer to their problem. They want to meet Allah, they in the tree to meet Allah. It could be an oak, a pine, it doesn't matter. They can take whichever one they want to go meet Allah. So I was angry about that. So those are some of the questions that were asked. And then some of the questions were, tell me, Elizabeth, that's one of the questions. Made me really happy. What makes me really happy? What makes me really happy? I'm going to ask you a quick part.
Family.
Did you call Elizabeth a talker?
I've been around for a few years.
Okay. November 2nd, 40 years. She's been around for 40 years. Oh man, baby. You got a long way to go.
I know it's
Anyhow, that question, what makes me the happiest? Well, she didn't have a whole lot of paperwork to get through all of it, but there are some things. First of all, my family church, my church family. What makes me happy when I see someone accept Jesus? A couple of months ago when Sierra said she wanted to be baptized, I was so thrilled. And my grandkids, when they wanted to be baptized, I was so thrilled. And my great-grandkids, I was thrilled. And I was full of joy. And that's an everlasting thing. I got pictures. I got pictures. And as long as I'm alive and I can remember, that joy is there. Well, let me get to the question, the last question, one of the last questions. And that is pretty simple. What would you like people to say about you once you're gone? What would you like people to say? And this is a question and answer. Somebody tell me what you'd like people to say about you. You were a grumpy old... Okay. That's better than saying B-I-T-C-H. Okay? What would you like somebody to say about you? Somebody don't volunteer, I'm going to ask you. Megan?
That I was a lady.
A lady? Okay.
No, not all females are ladies.
Not all females are ladies, that's right.
That's right.
And in this short life of mine, I've seen some pretty trashy tramps. But you know what else I've seen? Tramp neighbors. The males who made them tramp. We'll leave that there, that's not in my notes. Somebody else. What do you want somebody, what would you like somebody to have said about you, David King? What would you like? I can't translate that. That you were a nice guy? Yeah. Okay, that you were a nice guy. Okay. Somebody else.
A blessing.
That you were a blessing? All right. Anybody else? What do you think would be something nice that somebody would say about you? Pardon? When you check out, when you go to the big home in the sky, because you've said that Jesus is your Savior, so that when you die here, you gain. You close your eyes here and your mouth stops here, you wake up in glory if you know Jesus. Amen. Okay. Once you're done here on earth, don't matter if you're young or old. Say, boy, he had some cool looking cars. Randy has a really cool looking yellow Mustang. Woo! Anybody else? Or you never really think about it?
Well, be a good father and a good husband.
Good father and a good husband.
And I know what my daughter told me, she was in church here at one time. And I didn't know that's what she was thinking. So she had a little speech that she gave. And it really made me feel good. Now my son, he's the exact opposite, but I know he thinks I'm a good father. And as far as being a good husband, I know I am. And plus I have a good wife. And it's like, I give you 100, 150 people that are going to say that.
Okay. That you should. And some people say you married up.
Somewhat. Just a few runs.
Okay, come on, girls and boys. There's food downstairs, and we're just going to we've got to get moving on with this. Nobody really thinking about it? Well, guess what? It's close. It's closer than you think.
See, well, I read the newspaper day after day. There's 80, 90, 89, 88-year-olds and 99-year-olds and even 78-year-olds. They checked out. They're done. They're going. Do you know what else I see? 23. I see 23. I see 19. I see 17. The last couple months there was one that was 17. I see that too.
So, joy unspeakable, full of glory. You cannot serve God, you can't please God if you're so old sourpuss and sadness all the time. I'm just so sad. I'm just so sad. You know how sad I am. I'm just a miscarriage. You know how sad I am. I'm telling you why. You know how sad I am. I'm sad. I'm going to tell you I'm sad because John sat in my pew. That's how stupid most of it is. I heard one amen. Do I hear another?
Amen.
That's better. That's more better. Now we go on to the next one. Joy is an expression of faith. You got to experience it to be able to express it. had the equal amount on each side. Otherwise, your horse walked like this. And going up alongside a mountain, a little trail that's just a couple thousand feet or 100 feet down, that'd be serious trouble. Because the horse is not packed evenly. And so, sometimes I feel like that on Sunday. I come here, and this side's fuller, so now I'm going like this. And the thing about that is pointing me towards my grave. Now that my name's out there. Now, we're doing this. So, we need to get more people on this side over here. Well, maybe there's somebody over there that has bad breath you don't want to sit next to. Just reach in your pocket. Give them some scope or something. Just give them some spray. Just go, hey, open your mouth. Okay. Now I can sit next to you. It's an expression. Are you happy?
Yes.
Yeah. Are you happy to sing Christmas?
Yeah.
If you're a mama or a grandparent who's got all the cooking and stuff to go on Christmas Day or the day before Christmas or whatever your family has at Christmas, when we sat down, I'll tell you what, I was at Thanksgiving with Troy and his kids. And they're 6'4". And I said, like, and this the little guy in the middle, I feel like a bad drumstick. So he had his daughter and her 2 kids coming. And we all sat at one table.
Wow.
Just one table.
Praise the Lord.
How many years it's been that I sat at one table? At Thanksgiving Day, we had 3 or 4 other tables of 2 years at least. And the kids called it the satellite table. The table where the little kids sat. And Trevor used to say, Dad, when am I going to be able to sit at the big people's table? And then, you know what? His son, my grandson, Jacob, used to say, Pappy, when do I get a chance to move up from the satellite table? He wanted to sit at the table, and then we could seat 12 at our table, and it opens up to 12. And think about that. I was happy that I was there. Praise the Lord, I was happy, and I was full of joy that I was able to be there with he and his family for the first time on Thanksgiving in 8 years. I was happy about that. But the happiness didn't last long. You know why it didn't last long? I thought about the rest of my family without me. And Nancy had gone on. She's without me. Oh, a bit jealous. She's already in glory. Now don't pull your gun out and say, I can fix that. Don't try that again. Now don't pull your gun out and say, I can fix that. Send me to glory with her. Carol, did you get what I said? All right, okay. I'm glad. I'm somebody give me a witness. Fullness of joy always produces happiness. It's kind of like when you got a cold and you keep digging and you keep digging. And finally you get it out. Now I can breathe. And you look at that. Fullness of joy always produces happiness. If you can get the house clean, that brings happiness. For a moment.
Yeah.
Because if you got a coat, guess what happens?
Comes back.
Gets back, comes back. Come on, you working with me again?
Yeah.
I'm glad you're all excited. I can see it right now. You can't say that. The choice. Choice is choice. Say it.
Joy is a choice.
Amen. Choice. When you go out of this place, and you head back to your house, what you're going to do, I don't know. You might watch a football game. I don't know. I won't watch NFL anymore. So they get their act together. But joy is your choice. You can go out of here being full of joy, or you can go out of here and being a grumble grouch, sourpuss, looking like you've been sucking on lemons during the whole Sussex. It's your choice. You want to be sad? That's your choice too. You want to be happy? That's good. But you can't experience happiness without joy. Joy unspeakable and full of glory. Thank you all for coming today.